Part 2. The elements of the Ichimoku Kinko Hyo system. The Ichimoku system has 6 elements that work together to form a complete Ichimoku picture. The elements include the Tenkan Sen, the Kijun Sen, the CHIKOU span, the SENKOU span A, the SENKOU span B, and the KUMO. Lesson 1. The Tenkan Sen. The Tenkan Sen is the blue line in an Ichimoku chart. It is also known as the conversion line or the turning line. This is calculated with the highest highs and the lowest lows for the past 9 periods divided by 2. The Tenkan Sen is the midpoint of the past 9 periods. So from the current period, we count 9 candlesticks back, then we add the highest high and the lowest low, and then divide that by 2. So the highest high is 1990 plus the lowest low of the past 9 periods, which is 1688. We divide that by 2 to get 1839. That result becomes a point in the line. This makes up the Tenkan Sen line. The Tenkan Sen is the fastest of all the indicators. It provides a short-term support and resistance. If price is above the Tenkan Sen line, the short-term bias is bullish. The Tenkan Sen also shows the strength of the short-term momentum. The steeper the slope of the Tenkan Sen, the stronger the momentum. In this chart, the line is steeply sloped upward, showing strong upward momentum. If price is below the Tenkan Sen line but above the Kijun Sen line, the short-term bias is bearish. This, however, signals that the momentum is weakening. In these areas on the price chart, the price is below the Tenkan Sen. The second element in the Ichimoku system is the Kijun Sen line. The Kijun Sen is a vital part of the Ichimoku system. The Kijun Sen is the red line. It is also known as the reference line or the standard line or the baseline. It is calculated by taking the highest high plus the lowest low for the past 26 periods divided by 2. From the last day's candlestick, we count 26 periods back, then we find the highest high. In this chart, it is 550. Then we get the lowest low, it's 482. We add them, then divide by 2. So 550 plus 482 divided by 2 is equal to 516. That is the value plotted right here. The Kijun Sen tells you the medium-term bias of the market. If price is above the Kijun Sen line, then the medium-term trend is bullish. In this chart, price broke below the Tenkan Sen but bounced at the Kijun Sen line. We see these bounces happening many times within the chart. At times when the price broke below the Tenkan Sen line, price was able to bounce above the Kijun Sen line, showing that the medium-term bias is still bullish. If price is below the Kijun Sen line, then that means that the price is bearish because it is below the midline of the prices for the past 26 periods. This chart of Bitcoin shows that price had been trending below the Kijun Sen line for the past few months. From March to April of 2022, however, price had successfully broken above the Kijun Sen line, and it is currently retesting that line as the new support. So price has to stay above the Kijun Sen line in order to remain medium-term bullish. The Kijun Sen line serves as medium-term support line. When an uptrending stock consolidates and bounces off its Kijun Sen line, this means that the medium-term trend is still bullish. The encircled areas are good areas to buy into an uptrending markets. So if you will buy the dips, a good position to enter is at the Kijun Sen line. Once price falls below the Kijun Sen line, that becomes the medium-term resistance. The reversal of roles between support and resistance also applies with Ichimoku. The Kijun Sen line is also a built-in trend line. In the first half of this chart, the Kijun Sen acted as price resistance. price trended below the Kijun Sen line. Then a reversal happened and the price crossed above that line. This was a bullish signal. The result was a reversal from a downtrend to an uptrend. The opposite happened in this chart. Price had been trending above the Kijun Sen line for several months and served as the medium-term support line. And then price reversed and dropped below the Kijun Sen line. The Kijun Sen's role shifted from a medium-term support line to a medium-term resistance line. And the trend shifted from bullish to bearish. From the previous examples, we learned that the Kijun Sen could also serve as your trail stop for uptrending stocks. The break below the Kijun Sen is a sell signal. The advantage of using the Kijun Sen line over trend lines is that it adjusts with the market volatility. Unlike trend lines, which are merely straight lines connecting bottoms, the Kijun Sen is more flexible and is a more accurate trend indicator for prices. The Kijun Sen tells you the medium-term momentum of the market. A steep Kijun Sen line in an uptrend or a downtrend signals strong directional momentum. A Kijun Sen that is flat signals consolidation or a sideways movement. This chart illustrates the dynamics of equilibrium using Kijun Sen as the baseline. We divide the chart into three phases. In phase 1, the price is trending along with the Kijun Sen line. The demand and supply are in equilibrium. Thus, price settles into a small trading range. In phase 2, the demand surges. The result is a scarcity in supply, and therefore price increases drastically. Price is way above the Kijun Sen line. The price is in disequilibrium. In phase 3, the price drops drastically as demand drops and supply surges. The result is that price is way below the Kijun Sen line. This is still in a state of disequilibrium. What follows should be a consolidation phase. During a consolidation, price and Kijun Sen rejoin so that the demand and supply are in equilibrium. Next, we will talk about the CHIKOU span. The CHIKOU span is the green line. It is also known as the lagging line because it is behind the current price by 26 periods. The CHIKOU span is one of the most underutilized yet more important aspects of the Ichimoku system. It is a time-shifted line because from the current closing price, you count 26 periods backward to get to the latest point on the line. This helps us gain a clearer perspective of current price action with respect to the past 26 periods. Here is an illustration. This is the current period. This is the price right now. We count 26 candlesticks back. Where is the CHIKOU span? Is it above or below the price? CHIKOU span is below the price. If the CHIKOU span is lower than the price 26 periods ago, this would indicate that there is potential for more bearish action to come since price tends to follow trends. Therefore, price is bearish. Now here is a bullish scenario. Here is the current price. Here is the price 26 periods ago. Here is the CHIKOU span. Price is bullish because the CHIKOU span is above the price. This means that there is a higher possibility for more bullish price action to follow. Lesson 4, SENKOU span A. The SENKOU span A is also known as the leading or the preceding line 1. The SENKOU span A is the average of the TENKAN Sen line and the KIJUN Sen line. Get the value of the TENKAN Sen line and the value of the KIJUN Sen line, then divide that by 2. Then we plot this value 26 time periods ahead. The SENKOU span A is another one of the time-shifted lines that are unique to Ichimoku. The TENKAN Sen for this chart is 248.8. The KIJUN Sen is 249.6. We add the TENKAN Sen and the KIJUN Sen line, and then we divide the sum by 2 to get the SENKOU span A. The SENKOU span A is at 249.20. the value is plotted 26 periods ahead. Since it represents the average of the Tenkan Sen and the Kijun Sen, the Senkou span A is itself a measure of equilibrium. The Senkou span A measures the volatility of the market. Notice how in this chart, the Senkou span A is right inside the range defined by the Tenkan Sen and the Kijun Sen. This is because the Senkou span A is the average of those two lines. Since price tends to respect prior support and resistance levels, then we could assume that by time shifting the Senkou A line forward by 26 periods, we will be able to see at a glance where support and resistance from 26 periods ago reside compared with current price action. While it is possible to trade off the Senkou span A and B lines on their own, the real power comes in their combined dynamics in the KUMO. Lesson 5. The Senkou span B. The Senkou span B is also known as the leading line or the preceding line. This is calculated as the highest high plus the lowest low divided by 2, calculated over the past 52 periods and shifted 26 periods ahead. The Senkou span B is usually flat because it represents prices over a longer time period. Let's compute for the Senkou span B value in this chart. This candle is the 52nd period from the last candlestick. The highest high is 263 while the lowest low is 217. We add these two values and then divide the sum by 2 to get the Senkou span B. So we have 263 plus 217 divided by 2 is 240. This Senkou span B line measures the longer-term equilibrium ahead of price action so that as an Ichimoku practitioner, you are able to see into the future potential. This is the slowest of all the elements because it is calculated using 52 periods. If price has not made a new high or new low for the past 52 periods, that will be seen in the flattening out of the Senkou span B. Since these flat Senkou B are strong supports and resistances, you will be able to trade off these levels. Lesson 6. The KUMO. The KUMO is also known as the cloud. That's the shaded area between the Senkou span A and the Senkou span B. The KUMO or Ichimoku cloud is the foundation of the Ichimoku Kinko Hyo charting system. The location of the Senkou A and Senkou B in the KUMO determines the market bias. If the Senkou A is on top of the Senkou B, the market bias is bullish and the KUMO is green. If the Senkou B is on top of the Senkou A, the market bias is bearish and the KUMO is red. When the Senkou span A and B cross, you get what is called a KUMO twist. A KUMO twist signals a change in sentiment. KUMOs are plotted ahead so they define future sentiment rather than the present. Every trend starts with a KUMO breakout. In this chart, the price had been on an uptrend since price broke above the KUMO. If price is above the KUMO, the sentiment is bullish. If prices are within the KUMO, you could not see what is actually going to happen because it is inside a range. You don't want to be inside the KUMO. You want to get above it. Do not take trades that are inside the KUMO because price will be stuck inside that range. If price is below the KUMO, the sentiment is bearish. In this chart, the price had been on a downtrend since price broke below the KUMO. The KUMO identifies trading ranges. When price enters a thick KUMO, we expect high price volatility because the distance between the Senkou span A and B is wide. This means that price will range between these two equilibrium lines. Price will go back and forth and has no clear direction until it breaks above or below it. While inside the KUMO, the only trade that may be made is a range trade. The thickness of the KUMO also defines the strength of the support and resistance. The thicker the KUMO, the stronger it is as support and resistance. If price is above the thick KUMO, then we have a strong support area, as shown in this example. Therefore, price will have a hard time breaking below it. If price is below a thick KUMO, then we have a strong resistance area, as shown in this example. Therefore, price will have a hard time breaking above the KUMO. Here's an example of a thick KUMO supporting prices. Price had been trending above that thick KUMO, which serves as strong support. Here's another example where the thick KUMO served as strong resistance to prices within the downtrend. The price is having a hard time breaking above a thick KUMO, which results in further downtrend. A thinner KUMO indicates weaker support and resistances. If price is above a thin KUMO, this serves as a weak support. Thus, the thinner the KUMO, the easier for price to break below it. If price is below a thin KUMO, then this serves as a weak resistance. The thinner the KUMO, the easier it is for price to break above it. This chart shows all the elements of Ichimoku Kinko Hyo. You have the TENKAN Sen, the short-term support line, the KIJUN Sen, the medium-term support line. You have the CHIKOU span, the SENKOU A, and the SENKOU B line. And then you have the KUMO. Thank you for watching part 2 of this Ichimoku Kinko Hyo webinar series. Please don't forget to check out part 3, Ichimoku Signals.